Ready to make a difference? This is the Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce podcast, where we connect you with the stories behind our local businesses.
Welcome to the Palm Harbor Chamber podcast. I'm your host, Kurt Rhodes, and today we are at the Palm Harbor Chamber. We have Ashley Howard from Howard's Cleaning Service.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So let's talk about Ashley Howard,
All right.
the golfer extraordinaire.
I'm working on
She's
it.
a very good putter, by the way.
I'm working on
Yeah,
it.
good
Almost
for you.
breaking 90.
There you go. Yeah. You keep your handicap though?
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
21.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
I'm a 21.
Your husband probably makes you keep your handicap, right?
Yeah, and I got a big bet with Brian Penn.
Oh. All right, back to Ashley Howard.
So we are from Cincinnati, Ohio. We've now been in Florida 9 years officially. So what brought us here was we bought an Airbnb in Clearwater Beach 10 years ago this summer.
Right.
And then after we bought that, we were like, what are we doing? We got to get out of
We
this
gotta get out of it.
dreary weather,
Get out of
especially this
Florida.
time of year. The big storm's coming.
It is.
So we were tired of always traveling to the beach so often, and so we finally said, let's make the move and let's start Howard's Cleaning in Florida. So that's what we did.
Now, was it a simple, easy transition though?
Yeah, it actually,
Because
it was like one of those things where things just kind of fell into place. We just,
Okay.
once we decided we wanted to move, at the time I still worked in corporate sales and IT, and
Okay.
I told my company I was going to move, and we ended up getting a cash offer on our house, so things just started aligning, and we actually moved in 90 days.
oh wow, it was quick, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back. So why did you and Billy, her husband is Billy, why did you start Howard's Cleaning?
So originally we started it, we both knew we had kind of always wanted to own our own business.
Okay.
And at the time, like I said, we both were in the corporate world, and he got laid off. And so we were trying to think of something to do to start a business. And I was like, well, I can keep my corporate job while we build a business in Ohio. And his stepfather always said we should do something service-based, like for the baby boomers,
Right.
something that you can't do on your own necessarily. So
Okay.
you can obviously go rent a machine, but the equipment isn't
Quality
as
just, yeah.
yeah, not as good.
Right.
So, a lot of people have pets and kids and have a need for our service. So we literally took $10,000 and started the business and
Yeah.
went on YouTube, learned how to do it, took some classes, and it was just Billy, and he went to work, and we started getting jobs. And back then, Angie's List and Groupon were like really big things, and Home Advisor, those were like the three pillars that got us on the map, so to speak.
Okay.
Obviously now things are different with Google and social media, but back then that was really what took it off
All right.
the ground.
So go from Cincinnati, you come down here, it's kind of not a clean slate, but you don't have any business around here. So
Right.
what makes you grow very quickly?
So yeah, when we got here, we knew nobody. I mean, it's not like we came to this area all the time. We just happened to buy the Airbnb, and then we landed on Tarpon on a whim. We picked our house out on Google, like we were driving around the roads, and then the realtor that we had, we found her online, and she FaceTimed us, and we were like, we'll take it. And we were like, the worst thing that can happen is we could always rent the house out or sell it. And so we luckily bought before things got pretty crazy down here, and got a pretty good deal. And then once we got here, we just started getting involved in the community and started networking and making friends, and started landing jobs, and then set up Google and social media to build the business.
So let's talk a little bit more about the logistics of Howard's Cleaning Service. What are your services that you provide?
Okay, so we do pretty much all floors except terrazzo tile we do not do, but all types of tile, LVP, hardwood, carpet, area
Okay.
rugs, furniture, and we have truck mounted equipment and portable. So sometimes we have to use a portable if it's like a high rise. We prefer to use a truck mount that's more powerful, but
Okay.
pretty
So
much.
you're well equipped no matter what the situation is. If it's commercial,
Yes.
residential, high rise, single family home.
Correct.
You got all the bases covered.
We like to do both. Like up in Ohio, we do a ton of work with property managers and do a lot of apartments. Down here, we do quite a bit of commercial work plus a lot of residential. So, for example, this week we just cleaned all the hard surface at the Threshers Stadium.
Okay, Threshers baseball.
Yeah.
On US 19 there.
Yep.
Okay.
So we love big jobs like that, and we can do that, but then we can also just come out for one area rug if that's all that you have.
Okay. Now, you obviously have a website. What is the website?
howardscleaning.com.
Very simple,
Yeah.
right? So they can contact you there. Now, when you go to your website, can they do their own quote? Do they have to call you?
They can
Both?
they can request a quote,
Okay.
and then we reach out to them within minutes
Okay.
of receiving it. We don't have online booking. I don't know, there's pros and cons with it in our business because some people don't know what they have or how much square feet they have, or
Okay.
so if these and then logistically, like if they were to pick a time slot, then we could be going to St. Pete and then up to Hudson, so.
Yeah.
For us, it's still beneficial to have that personal touch.
Okay.
You're not talking to an AI assistant. You're talking to me.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
Billy, or
no, it's-
it's a real person.
Right.
We
You're
wanna-
talking to the owners.
Yeah, we want to give that personal touch.
Right.
Still give the customer service, touch to it.
Absolutely.
Versus, so we do text though. I do a lot of text, and people send us pictures or a video of the space.
Okay.
To make it easy to get a quick quote too.
So other ways of communication. Great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
whatever the customer prefers is how we will
Yeah,
communicate.
be diversified, right? Awesome. So let's kind of switch gears. Obviously, I met you guys part of the Palm Harbor Chamber,
Yeah,
right?
that's the first time. I met you.
Exactly. So talk about your experience and how you got involved in the chamber and what you thought the chamber was about. Because sometimes when I sit down and have these podcasts, people will go to their first chamber event. They're like, I'm not sure what I'm going to see or who I'm
Yeah.
going to meet or what
Yeah,
the
we
purpose
didn't really
is. So-
do a lot of chamber or networking stuff up in Cincinnati because Billy was on the truck and I was still working. But once we moved down here, we wanted to meet friends and build business relationships. So it's
Okay.
been a great avenue for both. I mean, some of our best friends are in the chamber, and then also we do business with them. Our website is built by Known Digital Marketing. They're heavily involved in the chamber. Illy that just left, great friend. So not only do you get to build business relationships, but then it's fun too because you get to build friends.
Okay. So what do you like most about the chamber?
I like the different events that we have, and I usually go to the lunches always. Those are always a nice way to get to know people, but it's really up to you what you get out of it. You get
Right.
what you put into it. So,
Right.
like Illy just said, you can't just come once and then expect to
Expect
just,
business
make a
and
million
hand out.
friends and get a bunch of business. But over time,
Right.
consistently showing up is best. That is the best way to
Yeah.
continue to
I think
build.
consistently you show up to events and consistently you get business, right? It's not rocket science. It's
Yeah,
pretty
we've
straightforward.
I think we've been here 9 years, so we've probably been with the chamber 8.
Okay. So do you do the business before hours, business after hours if you can?
Yeah,
through
we
the
went to
chamber?
the business after hours last night for a few minutes. Sometimes in the mornings I don't make that because I try to go to the gym, but
Yeah.
if I can, I will.
Okay. So people are listening to us and they're thinking, why would I want to become part of the Palm Harbor Chamber? What's in it for me?
Well, it's a really
think that's one of
it's
the
a
typical
really
questions.
easy, quick investment. I mean, it's not expensive,
Right.
so it's a no-brainer if you want to be recognized in the community and get involved. Whether you want to volunteer or you want to, sponsor things to get exposure for your business or just make friends. It
Yeah.
really checks all the boxes. It's kind of. I think if you're a business owner, you have to do it. Like if you don't, I mean, it's a few $100s a year.
Right.
How can you not do it?
But there's one word that it kind of really stuck out just a second ago, and you said volunteering. I think majority of our members do try to volunteer some way, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you think that is helping you? Not just from getting more business, but does it do some kind of self-pride for yourself when it comes to volunteering for it? Because we have a lot of events.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
need that volunteering
And it's okay
help.
if you only do it, if you volunteer more some years and less, and it's always here to do, and you can
It
help
is.
in any way, and it can be a small way. And it doesn't always have to be a financial commitment either. So, and it's rewarding, if you take your time out of your day, people volunteer, and then they see you in the community. Like people like that, they want to know that you're involved where you lived.
Well, they get to know you more.
Yeah. And they
Instead
see
of-
see
Instead
you
of
in
just a
different-
face,
Yeah.
they say, oh, what does Ashley actually do? Oh, she owns Howard's Cleaning Service. Oh my gosh, I could have my carpets cleaned. My whole family could have, probably. And once they get to know you and build that relationship, it's probably a customer
Yeah.
going forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's fun and like it's exposure. So,
Right. Now, how long you guys been part of the Palm Harbor Chamber again?
Like 8 years.
8 years. Okay, because we were at 7, so yeah, that's awesome. Do you remember your first chamber event?
I
always ask people
I
this.
know you asked her that. I think we met at like one of our first. It might have been one of your when you first got your building.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
It's hard to think back, but
Yeah.
how many events do you think you've gone to for the Palm Harbor Chamber?
Oh,
I just go-
hundreds. Yeah.
Right? Hundreds. Right.
At least a handful every month.
I think
at
that's
least
what-
at least something once a week.
Yeah.
One thing a week.
I think I think the chamber allows our members to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, you kind
Because
of have
not
something
everybody
for
can do the
everybody.
morning.
Yeah, not everyone can do the night.
Not everybody can do the night.
Some
Everybody
people can't do the middle of the day.
Right, so you can kind of pick and choose what's best for you.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's a great, networking thing because there's not a commitment. Like there's the only commitment. It's up to you what you want to commit to. So if some months you can make it to 5 things, and then the next month you're out of town and you can't, that's okay.
Right.
Just do what you can do.
But I think it's a very interesting point that you brought up because people get in that situation where they're gone for maybe 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's MIA. Where are they?
Yeah.
But it's good to communicate with some people that, hey, I'm going to be out of the office or out of the country for 4 weeks. Just want to give you a heads up. I mean, communication is extremely important, especially in those type of situations where you can't consistently be at all the events.
Right.
There's some people that we are in our chamber that really go to almost every single event.
Right.
Because they're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They want to network, they want to help the community, they want to volunteer, etc.
Yeah, and even if you can just stop by for a little bit, that's always.
Yeah, showing your face for 3, 4, or 5 minutes. It makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a difference. So now, in regards, let's go back to kind of Howard's cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So you do commercial, you do residential. Talk about real quick, just kind of a simple job that you kind of do from a home standpoint. Because I know you guys, the reason why I'm asking this is because you actually did my mom's house. My mom's older, and she had a hip issue, and I remember you guys coming in and cleaning the house. But it's how you clean the house. It's not just, vacuum there, do this, steam them up. You guys propped up all the furniture. You did a lot of things, move things around. So you really pay attention to detail.
Yeah, and we send out, a pre-booking email so that they know what to expect and what they need to prep. Because obviously we aren't a moving company, so they do need to do a little prep work and make sure that the space is as clear as possible. Obviously, you can't move super large items, but we enjoy working with older people, and we like to be honest and make sure that we're committed to showing up when we say we're going to, and communicate if we're running late. That's the thing. When we moved here, that's one thing we realized is I think that there's a lot of service providers that don't deliver or aren't properly insured or properly prepared to do different things. So we try to make sure we understand exactly what the customer needs and what we're walking into as best as we can before we get there. And then we're constantly communicating before, during, and after the job to make sure it's a seamless process and everybody, gets what they want out of it.
Right. I think that's a very, very important message for the people that are listening at home, saying, hey, I want that service. And I can look through I almost said phone book, but you can Google it and say, oh my gosh, there's so many options. Who do I go with?
But our industry is known for coming in and saying it's going to be one thing, and then, oh wait, well that didn't include this.
Yeah, the big franchise companies.
When we built our business, I hate when that happens at my house. If I'm not an expertise in lawn care or pest control or garage door repairs or whatever. So I can remember like one of our first houses, something was wrong with the garage door, and the garage door guy came out, and it was, I ended up getting told I need all these things, and my husband was like, you don't need all those things. And I'm like, oh. So we pride ourselves on not doing that. Here's the price. As long as what you say, this is what we're going to do, then that's the price. We're not going to add on a bunch of fees when we get there. If your bill is $200, then it's going to be $200,
And I'm sure you probably have friends, family that come up to you and say, Ashley, I need this company. Do you know anybody that's reputable?
Yeah.
That can do a really good job? And you're like, oh yes, here's ABC.
Yeah.
Call them.
We know
Tell
a
them
lot.
that you know me.
Yeah, and they'll take good care of you.
Right.
And get you in right away.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think that's what.
we try to be a resource for our clients too,
Yeah.
you know, and if they need other projects in their home or services, and giving them good reputable companies, whether it be from the chamber
Yeah.
or people we've met along the way.
That's important within the chamber because you want to feel that experience
Yeah.
with that company.
Comfortable
So
referring somebody else.
referring somebody out to go, oh my
No,
gosh,
they're gonna do a good
I
job.
hope it's not going to be 50-50. It's going to be like, they're going to do a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you post a lot on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know your website's howardscleaningservice.com,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what other platforms are you on?
Yeah, you can find us obviously on Google. We have a large presence there and get a lot of jobs from that. And then we are on Facebook at Howard's Cleaning 09 and on Instagram at Howard's Cleaning.
Okay,
So,
awesome. 5-star reviews?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's something
that-
that's really big?
Yeah, that especially in our industry. I mean, people want to see that you've done good work, and so we've got over 350 reviews here
Yeah.
and that in Ohio. And we actually just expanded to the Fort Myers area as well.
Okay,
So we've been getting involved in some chamber stuff down there. I told our partner down there that that's the easy way to get connected. So start checking out their events and see what kind of business we can drum up down there.
awesome. Well, good luck on that new expansion there and down in Fort Myers.
Yeah.
But if for those that are at home, howardscleaningservice.com, you're on all these multiple platforms. I've seen so many of your videos, start to finish, how they clean things, how they pay attention to detail. So
Yeah.
kudos to you guys and your business going forward.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming on the Palm
Yeah,
Harbor
thanks for
podcast.
having us.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All
Have
right.
a great weekend.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Palm Harbor Chamber newsletter for updates and the next episode. A big thank you to our trustees for their incredible support. This podcast was produced by ABS Photo and Video.